श्री ललित कुमार जैन जी, श्री शेखर रेड्डी जी, श्री गीतांबर आनंद जी, श्री जक्षय शाह, श्री हर्षवर्धन पटोडिया जी, श्री विजय मीरचंदानी जी, श्री सतीश मगर जी, संजीव श्रीवास्तव जी, श्री मनु गर्ग, श्री अनुज पुरी जी, and delegates assembled here from various parts of the country, brothers and sisters. I'm extremely happy to be amidst you today morning. I remember the day I came here before the elections in your last conference. Now, the situation has totally changed. There was a vacuum of leadership. Now the leadership has come back. There was a vacuum of governance. Now the governance has come back. Earlier, it was deficit everywhere. Fiscal deficit, revenue deficit, trade deficit, current account deficit, and above all, trust deficit. That situation has changed now. There is trust, there is confidence, there is leadership, there is vision, and then the government is acting fast to the extent possible. Friends, I don't want to criticize anybody. People have given their mandate. One good thing has happened. The people of India, in their collective wisdom, after a gap of 30 years, have given a mandate, clear-cut mandate for stability of Indian polity. Not only stability coupled with ability is back in India after a long gap. We have a stable government and we have an able leader who can guide the nation. Because you need continuity, you need stability, you need ability, you need credibility so that you can reach prosperity. That is the route. Today, this government led by Sri Narendra Modi ji, we believe in unleashing the forces of growth from various sectors because we have to increase the growth. We have to add to the wealth of the country. Then only we can talk about welfare, then only we can talk about distributing the wealth. If you start distributing the wealth without creating wealth, then you will be distributing only debt. That's the problem. That's what earlier people has to try to do. So today I'm happy here in this convention. We need a renewal of urban India. We need economic development of India. We need advancement of India. All this needs collective effort. That's what CREDAI is. Collective renewal and economic development for advancement of India. That's what I call as CREDAI. You are our partners. This government do not treat businessmen as untouchables. Businessmen are part of India. They are part of our development. Without their cooperation, we cannot move forward. I have no hesitation to say this. My government is open. We want to encourage manufacturing sector. We want to encourage business community so that they create wealth and then we can prosper and we can distribute and we can reach to the bottom and then upliftment of them also. This is the belief of this government. There are people who do business with businessmen in the night and then condemn them in the day. We don't do it. I have no problem. I will say this even in Parliament also. I have no problem. I will say this in Parliament also. You are our partner, particularly my partner in our urban development. And we will lend you all the helping hand whenever necessary on any issue without any hesitation. That much you can take for granted. The government started allowing FDI in real estate sector because the capital is needed. The government have relaxed the norms of FDI with regard to area, with regard to quantum of investment. The government have given certain concessions in the income tax also, exemptions for the housing sector. And the government also is now coming out with an interest subvention plan The parliament is on. I don't want to share the details with you. We are coming out with an interest subvention plan for the housing sector, particularly for people, middle income and lower income, and then economically weaker section people. Then we are also moving towards interest reduction, but that cannot be done by the government. The Reserve Bank has to take the call. And unless you are able to contain the inflation, and unless you are able to strengthen your economy, you will not be able to do it. It's not like an executive order. So you need to strengthen economy. Fortunately, signs of economic revival are coming. Earlier it was 4.6. Now it has gone to 5.6. It may reach to 6.5. That is the forecast. With the mood, the day when we cross 6%, then naturally the interest rates will come down and then the people will be made more comfortable. I remember those golden days of Atal Bihari Vajpayee when interest rates were brought down below 8%, 7%, 7.25%, 7.5%. So these present interest rates are very difficult. I do understand. We are trying to revive the economy. We are trying to strengthen the economy. For that, we are taking many steps. We are trying to do everything possible to make it easy for the business. Some people are saying this is a government of businessmen. Men, na? Business may be men, hai, na? In the business also, businessmen means business may be men. Hai? Men are Indians. They are Indian men. See, you must understand there is a need to change of mindset that what do you call the Soviet model of socialism? The much talked about communism, those days have gone. They are not practical. Even China, there is no communism, only ism. That is Chinese-ism is moving forward. The Soviet has abandoned long back, Khrushchev, that Gorbachev came and he opened windows and the others came and opened the doors and then it has gone. Now the light has come. So the changes is inevitable. Now you have to think in terms of growth, growth, growth. That's why my government's agenda is development, development, development. 3D. Narendra Modi is 3D. Modi is 3D. Development. He is development oriented, he is decisive, he is dynamic. So that he can bring development. So we are now trying to, first of all, create confidence in the market that has come now. Investors are looking to India. The other day, 1 week back, I was in Barcelona, in Spain, for the World Smart City Conference. 240 companies from across the globe came from around 180 countries. After my speech, everybody was showing interest about India. They want to do something in India. They want to do business in India. That's the mood now. That's the mood now. I've been to South Korea for the Asia Pacific Ministerial Conference. I've been to Singapore. India is much talked about everywhere. I am not boasting this. This is because of my government. The mood has changed. So the people, even my friends in opposition, they have to understand the mood of the people. People want stability, people want governance, people want development, people want their welfare rather than other politics. So this has to be understood, and then I only hope that the opposition also realizes the need for investments and support us, the progressive measures we are taking up with regard to insurance, with regard to investments in various sectors. The need of the hour is to get maximum investments. To create infrastructure, you need investment. Without that, it's not one. One is getting investment outside, and second one is allowing investment from inside by removing the obstacles. You have to go for a two-pronged approach. So I hope that my friends, they should not oppose for the sake of opposition. Opposition for the sake of opposition is not going to do any good to the country or to the people. They should understand the spirit of the mandate of the people, whether it is at the national level, whether it is the Maharashtra level, whether it is the Haryana level. See, it's not simple. And really, I salute the collective wisdom of the people, right from Arunachal Pradesh to Andaman. As if they woke up in the morning, as if they talked to each other through video conferencing. They went to polling booths and then pressed a button only on one symbol, mostly. And the result is a good majority, massive majority. Haryana, my party is not that much strong. You are going to have Haryana Chief Minister in the evening. But still, people of Haryana, they are progressive, they wanted development, they have tasted development to some extent. And now they want full development, so they have voted for even BJP in Haryana. I'm not trying to be political. The underlying message is people want development. They see that this man is a messiah of development, Narendra Modi, so we should stand by him. And the knowledge is going to this extent, and people are saying, "Arey, wo to Modi ji ka election ho gaya na, तो किसी ने कहा सर कहाँ हो गया, अभी देखो तो यहाँ मेजॉरिटी स्टेट में मदद नहीं दी है तो राज्यसभा में मेजॉरिटी नहीं होगा, वहाँ से बिल वापस आएगा, ये भी बात कर रहे हैं लोग नीचे. दिस इज द विजडम ऑफ द पीपल. The common man of India, we should not underestimate them. They are understanding even the state election, Modi is relevant for the simple factor because we have to strengthen Modi's hands, otherwise he cannot move. Lok Sabha passes and Rajya Sabha blocks. This is the sort of a discussion going on in the country. It's a good thing. Friends, I have attended many conclaves, had many interactions with friends, and also summits organized by different associations or groups working in the real sector across the country. Normally the themes are affordable housing or housing for all, but the CRADAI has kept the theme of this conclave as Clean India, Skilled India, Strong India. My Prime Minister has given a program called as MISI DC. He has not named it, I am naming it. It is MISI DC. MISI DC means MI, Make in India, SI, Skilled India, DI, Digital India, CI, Clean India. It's called as MISI DC. You people have added Strong India. Very good. Then the other words means Swachha Bharat, Kaushal Bharat, and then Sashakta Bharat. This is a very good theme you have taken. I congratulate the CRADAI for having such a vibrant and time-relevant theme for this conclave. Nation building is not the work of the Prime Minister or the government or the ministers alone. Nation building is the collective responsibility of all the people living in this nation. So we must all endure in that direction, apply our minds and also start working in that direction. I am happy that the conclave is going to address these issues and take up these issues. When the Swachha Bharat Abhiyan was launched on 2nd October, people across the country, common man felt happy. But some readers have started expressing skepticism, saying that it is nothing more than a publicity stunt. One great man called as a publicity gimmick. What is publicity gimmick? Cleaning the premises, अपना मकान, अपना दुकान, अपना परिवार, अपना इलाका, अपना रास्ता, ये कोई पब्लिसिटी कहाँ है इसमें? एक दिन होगा पब्लिसिटी, फिर बाद ये तो इतना महत्वपूर्ण काम है, पवित्र काम है, इसको ऐसा अवहेलना करना दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है. ये कार्यक्रम नरेंद्र मोदी जी का नहीं है, ये कार्यक्रम महात्मा गांधी जी का है. गांधी जी ने कहा क्लीनलीनेस इज नेक्स्ट टू गॉडलीनेस. भगवान के पास पहुंचना है तो उन्होंने कहा शरीर स्वच्छ होना चाहिए, मन भी स्वच्छ होना चाहिए. ये महात्मा जी ने कहा 100 साल के पहले. He went to Varanasi and said this 100 years back, exactly 100 years back. This is what Prime Minister is. Some people are saying Prime Minister is talking of small things. Is it small? The Swachha Bharat and the Clean India is connected with the hygiene. Hygiene means with your health. There is a WHO study which says that because of unhygienic conditions, every common man is made to incur an expenditure of 6,500 rupees per year. This is what the WHO study says. I am talking the common people. 6,500 is nothing for the big diseases we get and go to hospitals. So that being the case, the topmost priority should be to make India clean so that you can attract tourists. Otherwise, there will be advisors also. If you go there, you will have this, you will have that and all. But unfortunately, some political parties are trying to make it political. This is not a political agitation or a political program. It is a people's program and we want to make it a प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा मुझे ये कार्यक्रम राजनीतिक कार्यक्रम नहीं होना चाहिए, एक जन आंदोलन का रूप देना चाहिए. That's why we are inviting cinema people, we are inviting cricket people, we are inviting sports people, we are inviting Swamijis, religious people, spiritual gurus. Ramakrishna Math is there, Gayatri Parivar is there, Shankaracharya ji is there, then Sri Ravi Shankar ji is there, you have Baba Ramdev ji is there, then you have SGPC, Gurudwara Prabandha Committee, you have even this Darul Uloom, they wrote me a beautiful letter appreciating the program, Deoband, and then you have Jamaat Islami Hind, you have Rotary Club, you have Lions Club, CRADAI also joining it in a big way. What is politics in this? I am not able to understand. It's a very, very noble program. I appreciate the CRADAI for taking up this program in a serious manner. Please take it up at every level. I have gone through your note. You are going to take it in every establishment of yours, this Swachhata Abhiyan in a big way. I wish you all the best. Friends, the cleanliness is, but one thing has to be remembered. Cleanliness is not one-time activity. It has to be part and parcel of our daily life. It's like shaving your beard. You shave your beard today and say, I will shave it again on next October 2nd. What will happen, you understand? You have to go on shaving it every day. You have to brush your teeth every day. If you don't do it for a day, next day what will happen? Your family members are near and dear will tell you. ये ऐसी प्रोग्राम है, इसलिए इसको एक जन आंदोलन रूप देने के लिए हम प्रयास कर रहे हैं. मैं अर्ज कर रहा हूँ क्रडे से भी, अपना घर में, अपना मकान में, अपना दुकान में, अपना परिवार में, सब में ये जागृत पैदा करने के लिए काम करना चाहिए. इसके लिए 3 pronged अप्रोच चाहिए. जनता में जागृत पैदा करना, दूसरा इसके लिए इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर क्रिएट करना, मोर एंड मोर सैनिटेशन एंड टॉयलेट्स. पीएम सेड टॉयलेट सैनिटेशन में टॉप प्रायोरिटी. So all of you also please join the corporate social responsibility by taking up construction of toilets, not only your premises, not only the premises you are constructing, but also in the nearby. Go for community toilets also. And the third one is, one has to think of legislation of some sort of legislative action, but that will be later. Without creating awareness, without creating infrastructure, if you start taking action, बेचारा लोग दिल्ली में आएगा, आप उनको टॉयलेट फैसिलिटी नहीं देंगे और कहेंगे भाई इधर इधर नहीं पेशाब नहीं करना क्या, वापस जाके उनके घर में, उनके गांव में करना है क्या 2 दिन के बाद? वो तो संभव है ही नहीं. So you have to be careful. The other day I was talking to Prime Minister of Singapore and former Prime Minister also, Mr. Goh Chok Tong. So they were saying Singapore is clean, great, beautiful really. They were saying, sir, how is it possible? They said, you know, my city is known as a fine city. Fine. Not F-I-N, F-I-N-E-S. Fines city. They fine for everything. And then they get a lot of revenue by that. And then they control also. But here in India, it will take some more time for us to make. They have a congestion tax in certain roads, certain areas also. They have a second vehicle tax. They are progressive. They have traveled a lot from 1945 to now. So we are in the beginning only, we are addressing these basic issues. Friends, we have to change our attitude towards hygiene and sanitation. This Clean India will contribute to GDP growth. It will improve tourism activity. With proper sanitation, we can save a lot of avoidable expenditure on health sector. We have to have Skill India also to change the destiny of India. Our government, under the able leadership of Prime Minister, has come with the Skill Make in India program, and then for that, to make that successful, skilled manpower is very much required. There is manpower in India. There are skills available, but there has to be upgraded. Hats off to Indian people, the artisans, the abundant skills they have. But you have to give them a little more technical support and modern support, and so that they can move in a faster pace. That is what is required. That's why my government has created a skill development ministry. First time in the history of India. And you are going to have that minister in the afternoon, a dynamic young person, Rajiv Pratap Rudy. PM has created a separate ministry for that purpose. We have the advantage of demographic dividend. By 2020. India is set to become the world's youngest country with 64% of its population in the working age group. In the entire globe, we can give them human resources. We can give them skills. There is no dearth of skills. You know now, our doctors in America, our IT boys and girls in Silicon Valley. If there are, I always give this example, if there are 10 top doctors in America, 5 of them are from India. That's the greatness of this soil, this land, this air and this water. That inherent strength is there because of 5,000 years of our civilization. आदि काल से, वेद काल से, पुण्य काल से, पुराण काल से जो हमारा पूर्वजों ने जो जिया और दिया विरासत में हमको मिला, उससे हम हमेशा गर्व महसूस करना चाहिए. We should feel proud of our culture, our heritage. Friends, during the last 10 years, there was overemphasis on services, and they neglected the manufacturing sector. The service sector provides 26%. but contributes 56% of the GDP. We need to increase the share of manufacturing in GDP. It's currently only 16% compared to Southeast Asian countries like China, Korea, and Indonesia, where the share is 40 to 50% of the GDP. Manufacture will provide you more employment, more wealth. So we have to focus on that. We have seen interest of other countries taking in these days. Able leadership of our PM has created such an atmosphere that the entire world is looking towards India and want to associate with India. The response he got in America, the response he got in Australia, the compliments he got from Fiji, and the way Indian Prime Minister is received across the globe, a sudden change has come. A sudden change has come because they find a dynamic leader here who has got a vision. And that behind him is Indian people. It is not one individual Narendra Modi ji alone. It's Indian people. So the strength of India is being recognized and respected worldwide. It is estimated by 2020 there will be a shortage of around 56 million skilled people worldwide. India is in a unique position to provide skilled manpower to the rest of the world. Even masonry is also skilled upgradation. Taddy tapper, fisherman, goldsmith, blacksmith, even electrician. Small things also we need to give them skill upgradation, and there is demand worldwide, and we can send our boys and they can go out, and I always say for the boys and girls who are going out, go, learn, earn and return. Now everything is available in India also to happily settle. Our government is working on launching Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana. This will be an umbrella under which different programs will be launched for poverty alleviation and skill upgradation in urban and rural areas, elimination of poverty in urban areas, social mobilization and institutional development, employment through skill training and placement, self-employment program, support to urban street vendors, shelters for urban homeless, formation of self-help group to urban poor women, etc. are part of this Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Antyodaya Yojana. Friends, skilled India will lead us to strong India. I am convinced in saying that in the next 10 years I am sure Modi is going to be there and he will make India strong under his leadership. India will definitely emerge as a world superpower. Friends, we all know that housing for all by 2022 is one of the core commitments of our government. Demographic trends show that India is on the verge of large-scale urbanization, now 32%. By 40, it will be 40%. By 50, it will be 50%. 50% of the people are going to live in urban areas. So thereby, they will be adding more to GDP also. That being the case, another problem is the rapid growth of cities as well as rapid growth of slums. We have to convert these cities into drivers of growth. Cities are the center of innovation and technological advances. We have to take care of growth of cities to ensure growth of the country. Housing is one of the basic social criteria determine the quality of life of people. It's an indication of our culture. It influences the daily lives of people, their health, security and well-being. So everyone has got a right to adequate shelter. This cannot be done by government alone. That's where the public and private sector, the public-private partnership comes in. My government believes strongly in public-private partnership. And my finance minister was talking about public-private partnership on various issues. Some opposition friends were saying, this is a government of PPP. Yes, we are a government of PPP. What is wrong in this? I am not able to understand. Private-public partnership. When we are inviting foreign direct investment to India, why should you feel shy to work with CREDAI? Why should you feel shy to work with our Indians? These are all Indians. They are also Indians. They are also doing their bit. So, friends, it's going to be a PPP route for all these small cities, smart cities, Hriday, heritage development cities, even the urban renewal of 500 towns, and also I have to take care of another 4,047 notified towns across the country. So, everywhere it's going to be public-private partnership. The government will not shirk its responsibility. The government will do its bit. But at the same time, we want the public also to invest, private people also to invest, so that there is a pace of development and we are able to achieve our goal. The present annual investment in housing sector in India is about 7 lakh crore, US 120 billion per annum. To achieve the objective of housing for all by 2022, we require investment of around 14 lakh crore, US 240 billion every year for next 7 years. 14 lakh crores for 7 years means you can understand, imagine the amount. To facilitate such huge investment, the government is working on many fronts. Friends, CREDAI has given various recommendations regarding policies related to the affordable housing. The recommendations like relaxation of FDI norms, the real estate sector are under consideration. Recommendation regarding digitization of land records, single window approval mechanism for housing sector will be made part of the reforms which shall be made mandatory under the new Housing for All mission. I am holding talks with my environment minister, with the civil aviation minister, with other ministers and also states to see that the clearances are given at the earliest. More and more, it's very easy to say single window approval, but there are problems, but we are working on that, and then I am sure in the coming days the procedure will be simplified, because going to many people means many things are required. I need not underline it further. We want to avoid this human element. Thoda kam karke, online application, online sanction. That should be the main line. And that is the bottom line when you are able to really reach the reforms. So the bottom line has to be online. So that is our line also, but we are working on that. It's not that much easy to move, but we will be doing everything possible from our side. In that direction, I already had discussions, preliminary discussions with Civil Aviation Minister. Why should a file come from Hyderabad or Chennai or Thiruvananthapuram or Guwahati to Delhi to the Civil Aviation Ministry for permission? There should be a standardization. You fix the colors. Up to this is the permission. Up to this is the permission. Any violation can be dealt with. The Civil Aviation Ministry is working in that direction now. They are working in that direction. Same is the case with regard to the Environment Ministry also. Environment Ministry is proactive, but some people started already criticizing, saying they are diluting the Forest Act, that they are tampering with the environment and all. We want environment and development. Environment and economic progress must go hand in hand. Simple environment without development. What is the final purpose here? Some of the developing countries, they are trying to focus more on this. They have done everything, whatever is required. They have hotels. In Dubai, hotel is there in sea. And we have a regulation here, SEZ, of 500 meters from the sea, you can't do anything. I don't know. I'm not able to understand. I'm not able to understand the logic so far, unfortunately. When those people are living in sea and going for more and more constructions, and we are avoiding everything. And we want to keep away this. If at all sea want to come to you, it will come to you anytime, anywhere you are there. You can't help it. And the planning, of course, I do agree, the planning, there has to be a synergy of nature, culture and future. They should be combined, nature, culture and future. The CREDAI and the building industry must also adopt these techniques. Preserve our nature, preserve our culture also. Heritage, the other day I was in Barcelona. The impression I had about Barcelona was different. Oh, very smart city, very smart in the sense of, what we see. But when I went there, all same typical architecture of the same old 14th century, 15th century, 16th century, 17th century. It is preserved. And new additions are made, new technologies are adopted. So the Jaipur must have its own local culture, local beauty. Ahmedabad must have its own beauty. Hyderabad must have its own beauty. Everybody feels proud because we should never forget our roots. Whatever is there, we should adopt those new techniques. But why should we leave our culture and our heritage and our planning and our architecture and then just follow other things? Indian architecture is time-tested. Air, water, and then fire, all these things are taken care in our architectural designs. So we have to nowadays, some people have the weakness, they go to some other countries and get the furniture. After getting the furniture, they start saying, "Arey bhai, ye to acha nahi hai." So some people have the weakness. Some people look to England, some people look to Italy, some people look to some other countries. Look to yourself, look inside. There is a lot of things in India which are beautiful, which can be made beautiful. I'm not saying don't follow. If there is something good, learn from them. But just imitating them and then adopting that, forgetting our own this thing, I'm not able to understand why these things are happening. But the friends, so the housing sector has a tremendous potential. This sector supports more than 250 other ancillary units and has a huge multiplier effect on the economy. It is the second largest employer in the country. I'm sure that with the proper support, its contribution to GDP can grow from present 6% to 12% by 2022. That's my estimation. Let us all work together about the real estate development, and there was some sarcastic comment made. But I have a responsibility. I have to take care of development, I have to take care of sustenance, and I have to take care of the welfare of the people also. I can't just simply leave them to their lurch and then ask them to go to consumer forum, go here and there. So I have a duty, the real estate, that's why the name has been put now, Real Estate Development. Real Estate Development Regulation Bill. There won't be any strangulation, it will be only regulation. Don't have any unnecessary apprehensions about this. I have gone through it yesterday. I have told my secretary, she said already we had consultations enough. We had consultations. One consultation was in my presence also, consumers and real estate people and then my officers. One day consultation was there. Still some of the friends from Kadai and other real estate sector told me, sir, we need to. Then I told my secretary to have a meeting of class by class discussion, class by class, nothing secret. Now why should I worry? I'm not releasing any secret. So they had a class by class discussion. After that, yesterday, they have put a comparison before me. What is the bill? What is the standing committee recommendation? What is the proposed changes? What are the suggestions given by CREDAI and other people? And what are the suggestions of consumers? And then we are combining all and see to it that it's a people-friendly and also construction-friendly. Construction-friendly. Because, as I told you, you are our partners, you are doing a good job, you should do it, and you should not be strangulated. And but you know, in a democratic country, regulation is always required. Regulation always required. Even to go, even in moving in road also, there is a one-way traffic regulation. There is a one-way traffic regulation. If you leave it to the people, then somebody will come this side, somebody will come that side, and there will be accidents also. You should not think that the regulation is, even movement of people also is, my young days, some parties used to criticize like that. देखो, common man को भी यहाँ नहीं चलने देते, वहाँ नहीं चलने देते, उनको बताते आप लेफ्ट साइड में जाओ, आप राइट साइड में जाओ. कुछ पार्टी ऐसा भाषण करते थे, वो बिजली, क्या बिजली है? वो पानी है, ऊपर से जो पानी आ रहा है ना, उसमें पूरा बिजली निकाल के बेकार पानी आपको दे रही है. ऐसा भी बात करने वाले देश में है. So friends, don't worry, all take care will be taken, and as and when any problems comes, yes, I do agree. That's why there is going to be a cushion. Most of the rules and regulations we are leaving to the states, because states are in better know of things because of the field level connection. So the states will formulate the rules about the real estate development bill. On that count, nobody should have any worry. And moreover, whatever you are promising, you will be made accountable to only to that only. What you have not promised, nobody is going to demand from you. And nobody is going to talk about you. Friends, I convey my best wishes for today's and tomorrow's consultation. People should go on learning through experiences. I always say politicians also, ministers also should learn. Minister and politician should go on learning. Learn, but not yearn. Thank you very much.